From Little Silver, New Jersey, Anthony Alagona.
Thank you, Frank. Good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing? That's good. Let's see. Big shout out to Matt Koenig and Chris Spears for the invitation. This is my third Rockstar Auto Conference. My name is Anthony Alagona. I am a national sales trainer and motivational speaker that focuses on business development, relationship selling, and phone sales. So what I'm going to do today is Matt and Chris asked me and asked all the speakers to create a unique presentation that we've never done before. So I decided what I'm going to give you guys is a taste of what you get from me when I come into a dealership. So I'm going to consolidate my training down to about 30, 35 minutes and give you a taste of what it's like to get me inside your dealership. All right? So first and foremost, you guys ready to learn some stuff? Yeah. All right. So listen, I'm all about energy. I'm a very social person, and I'm very interactive, so I'm going to interact with you guys. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about me, and I'm going to find out a little bit about you so I can kind of get an idea about you. This is what I do inside of a dealership. I'm going to start with Clinton. Frank, give me the 5-minute sign, okay? I'm going to try to get through this in 5 minutes. Tell everybody your name.
My name's Clinton Brammer.
And how long have you been in the business?
11 years.
What's one thing you want to learn from me today?
Be better on the phone.
You're going to get that, I promise. You are, ma'am?
Nicole.
Nicole, how long have you been in the business?
12 years.
And sales, manager, or what do you do?
Marketing manager.
Awesome. What would be one thing you would want to learn from me today?
How to
Thank you.
um,
On the spot.
how to get further out market penetration.
Sounds good. You are?
Gary Mock,
I'll hold the mic for you. And how long have you been in the business?
just 2 years.
And what do you do in the dealership?
Business development manager.
Excellent. What would you like to learn from me today?
Business development.
You got it. I'm going to do it for you. No problem. You are, ma'am.
Jamie.
How long have you been in the business?
7 years.
I don't think this is working, Frank. Hold that. 7 years?
7
What do you do?
Sales.
What do you want to learn from me today?
Everything.
Okay, good answer. Nothing like putting you on the spot. You are?
Jolene Allen.
What do you do?
I'm in sales,
What would you like to learn from me today?
personal development.
Excellent. You are, sir.
Brandon Snowcell.
What do you do, sir?
Sales manager.
Excellent. What would you like to learn from me today?
Go with everything.
You got it. You are, sir.
Dan Barrett,
What do you do?
sales.
Excellent. What would you like to learn from me today if I taught you one thing?
How to get better penetration from the staff.
That's
that
what I
we have in the
specialize in.
Office, yeah.
All right. I got you. You are, sir.
Luke Wilson.
Nice to meet you. What do you
Nice
do?
to meet you. Dealer principal.
What would you like to learn from me today, sir?
Improve our BDC department.
I got you there. You are.
Elisa Wilson.
What do you do?
I'm a grunt,
Okay. What would you like to learn from me today?
as much as I can.
I love these answers. Excellent. Let's see if I can not trip. You are, ma'am.
Portia Muller.
I love the name.
Thank you.
What would you like to learn from me today?
How to better coach my team.
Not a problem.
Be more efficient.
What do you do in the dealership?
Internet BDC director.
Very nice. We're going to get along fine. You are, sir.
Travis Painter,
What do you do?
internet sales.
What would you like to learn from me today?
Keep relationships alive.
Awesome. Awesome. That's what I specialize in. You are.
Tyler,
What do you do?
internet sales.
What would you like to learn from me?
Everything.
All right. I got a lot on my plate today, huh? You are.
My name is Scott,
Scott, what do you do?
internet sales.
What would you like to learn?
More about relationship selling.
Sounds good. I'm running out of cards, guys. I apologize. You are.
Honest Jay Jensen.
Honest. All right. What would you like to learn from me today, my friend?
Dude, you just fill my head.
Yeah?
All right.
What do you do in the dealership?
Actually, I'm with Sean Kelly coaching.
Very nice. So hopefully I'll be able to teach you something, and you'll teach me something, I'm sure. You are, sir.
Bill Schomburg,
What would you like to learn from me, sir?
whatever you have to share.
All right. Looks like I got a full plate. Let's go back to this gentleman. You are, sir.
Sean Thomas.
Nice to meet you, Sean Thomas. I can't wait to watch your presentation.
Thanks,
You're going to teach me something, I'm sure. You are.
Barry Newman.
What would you like to learn, sir?
Like, teach me how to have more energy.
Sounds good. I got you there. Am I missing anybody? Terry, I know you. Josh, I got you. I already seen you. Frank, can I give you this back? Was that under 5?
250.
Nice. All right, guys, I want to get a little feel for who you are, and I'm going to tell you who I am and why you should listen to me as far as business development and sales training. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. 20 years in hospitality. When I was growing up, I worked for my mother and my father. They owned an Exxon gas station and convenience stores. So I was actually socialized at a very young age. I was around people. I learned how to love people. People are the most important part in any business practice, okay? No matter what business you're in, if you could be successful with people, you'll be successful in your business. I spent 20 years in hospitality. I loved it. I did everything from a busboy to a chef to a waiter to a general manager. But the thing is that there's a lot of peer pressure in the hospitality industry, and it ate me alive after 20 years. Basically, I made a lot of bad decisions, and I had a very good time making those bad decisions, I'm going to say. But from those choices, it led me down a path to where I was homeless about 11 years ago. And I'm not saying this for you guys to feel sorry for me. I just want you guys to understand there's two types of hard that you can deal with in life. You can deal with the hard of living paycheck to paycheck and not really getting to where you want to go financially, or you can deal with the hard of going after what you want. So would you rather deal with the hard of, fighting for what you want in life? Because they say time is money, but money buys time, and that's my philosophy. I'm trying to buy back my time so I can spend as much time with my family as possible. So when I'm inside the dealership or when I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm trying to practice my craft and hone my skills so I make myself more valuable to my clients. Now, when I became homeless 11 years ago, I started to feel sorry for myself, and something happened in my family that kind of woke me up. It was a little bit of tough love. I don't want to go into that because I don't have a lot of time. But what it did do is it taught me how to fight for what I want. So I picked myself back up, I brushed myself back off, I got back in the hospitality industry, and in 2011, one of my friends who's in the industry asked me if I wanted to change my life. He said, Anthony, you've been very good with people, you're awesome at what you do, why don't you try coming into the automotive space? So I took him up on it, and I worked for him, and I worked for him for about a year. The thing is when I went to go work for him, I was just kind of picking myself back up, and I didn't have a driver's license, and his office was an hour and 45 minutes away from my house. So I asked myself, how am I going to get there? And my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, says, what are you going to do? And I told myself, I live by two quotes. The first quote I live by is, if you want the things that most people don't have in life, you have to do the things that most people aren't willing to do, morally and ethically speaking, right? So I decided that I was going to rent a car from Enterprise, and I was going to drive an hour and 45 minutes each way to go work for $12 an hour to teach myself a new industry. Now, I didn't have a driver's license, but I knew back then, because of the shady things I've done in my past, that Enterprise wouldn't check the status of my license. They would just see if I had a physical license. So I literally paid $730 a month to rent a car, to drive back and forth an hour and 45 minutes for $12 an hour. That $12 an hour didn't even cover the cost of my rent-a-car or the gas I had to put in it. I was making a very big decision that I had to go all in on myself to change my life. If I wanted to get something different, I had to do something different, right? So I did that, and I did that for about a year. And then me and my buddy had a little bit of a disagreement, and we parted ways after the first year I worked for him. I spent about 8 months back in the hospitality business. I created another business. I became very successful at what I was doing. And then he reached back out to me, said, Anthony, I want you to come back to work for me. And I said, listen, I never wanted to leave in the first place. And I told myself, if I'm coming back in the business to do this, I will not leave again. I will hone my skills, I will make a name for myself, and I'll become successful at what I do. And that's exactly what I did. I spent 4.5 years with him, working for him and his company, learning a tremendous amount of knowledge, and at the end of the day, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in this business, so I'm forever grateful for that. But what he did teach me is to fight for what I want, because when I made the decision on May 14, 2015 to leave his company, I knew that was gonna come with repercussions, and I was gonna experience an intense amount of failure. And the reason I'm telling you my story is because I'm not looking to impress you. I'm looking to inspire you to go chase your dreams and to realize if you really want to be great inside of your dealership, you got to dig deep down inside yourself to be able to lead yourself and the people around you. Remember, it's about we, right? The more we have we, the better it's going to be. So after I left him, when I went to go leave him, I put a post on social media saying, thank you for the past 4.5 years. I've learned a tremendous amount of knowledge from you. It's just time for me to go my separate ways. And the only reason I really left it was because there was no more room for me to grow. I told myself, I'm not going to stay at this level. I want to make more money, and if I can't get it here, I'm either going to be complacent and stay, or I got to take myself out of my comfort zone. And I want you to keep in mind, I was just about to get married, and my wife is Indian. I had a big, elaborate Indian wedding where I rode in on a horse, okay? So it was very expensive. I felt like Aladdin. It was probably the best experience of my life, and I'm forever grateful for that experience. But when I left him, I had no money in the bank. I just bought a Jeep Wrangler, excuse me. I just moved into a new house, and I didn't have any money saved for my wedding that was coming up in about 4 months. And my wife was like, my wife now is like, what are you doing? And I said, well, you told me to bet on myself, and this is what I'm gonna do. So that's what I did, I left. And when I left and I made that post on social media, I experienced a lot of challenges, and I knew I was gonna walk into it. So the first thing I did is I created a 90-day goal to work out every single day, because I told myself, I'm gonna fail a lot for the next 52 weeks. I'm gonna experience failure at a level I've never experienced it before, and I gotta be able to see success somewhere in my life that I have control over. So I told myself, if I work out for 90 days and I run every single day for 90 days, at the end of my 90 days, if I'm pushed out of this industry, at least I'm gonna be in shape, look good, and feel good, right? There's gonna be something at the end of that road. What it taught me to do is it taught me to put on my blinders and put on my earmuffs and to focus on things that I could control, my thoughts, my actions, and my attitude. And I've been disciplined ever since that day. What I did is I faced about a year of social media, getting torn up on social media, saying Anthony is not a good guy, he's a fraud, he's never sold cars before in his life, which I didn't. I didn't sell cars before I started in the automotive industry. And he's telling all the dealers not to work with me. Then there's an email that goes out to 20,000 dealers in America saying Anthony's a fraud, don't go work with him. The only reason I know that email went out is because my mother was on the email list, okay? My mother got that email. The last thing I had to deal with was dealing with a non-compete that I signed the first time I worked for him. I had to go fight for my right to go work inside of a court, and basically, I had to dish money out of my pocket that I didn't have to hire attorneys to fight for my right to work. So I did that, and I won in court. Non-competes aren't really a thing, it's just something to scare you. And I fought for myself. And I knew I was gonna have to fight for myself, and I did that. So the first year I was just building up my business. The second year, I started to grab clients. And then the third year, right now, I'm end of my third year being by myself, I'm booked out 30 to 45 days in advance. I'm gonna teach you guys on how to do some business development. And the reason I want you to do that is because right now, I haven't called one dealership in the past 3 years to solicit their business. Everything has come to me through social media or through referral. You cannot find one dealership that said, Anthony called on me for work. I haven't called anybody to prospect. And the reason I did that is because I'm all about relationships. And a lot of people that know me is that I really dig into the person to make it a one-on-one connection because I want you to know I care about you. And I really do care about you. So now that you know my story, and I had a tremendous fight to where I come today, I've been in 251 dealerships in the past 7 years. I kind of know what works and what doesn't work. I take all the best practices from every dealership and I give them to the next client. So in my presentation today, I'm gonna go through a bunch of quotes that I use every single day, all right? I post quotes on social media every day, not only to inspire myself, but the people in my network. Can I get everybody to smile really quick? There you go. You guys are so friendly looking when you smile. All right, so the first one, your past doesn't define who you are, it defines who you were. I used to let my past and everything that happened in my past growing up stop me from chasing my dreams. So I want you to remember that. If you're holding on to something from the past, let it go. It doesn't define you. You can be a new you every single day. Trust me, if you knew the person I was 7 years ago or 11 years ago, you would not be impressed at all. Turn your dreams into vision and you'll struggle into hustle. That's exactly what I did. You know how I became a national sales trainer and motivational speaker? I put it in the signature of my email, and then I made it become real. That's exactly what I did. I wasn't neither one of those before I started, but as soon as I put it into the signature of my email, it made me believe that's what I was gonna become. And when people tell me I can't do something, I love it because it makes for a great conversation telling you how I did it. Chase your dreams, and remember you need hard work and commitment to catch them both, all right? You need to work hard. Success isn't guaranteed, I promise you that. No one's gonna outwork me. If you put me and another person in the room, I promise you I'll outwork you. It's just who I am, that's how I tick. I don't stop. Me and you gotta go head to head one day, Mr. Thomas. How people treat you reveals their character, and how you react reveals yours. Imagine when my former employer, who we're on friendly terms now, imagine if I reacted on social media and I came back at him. I don't think I'd be here where I am today. It was a big argument over social media. It would have been a big argument. Has anybody ever won a debate on Facebook? I don't think so. So I told myself, focus on me, what I can control. The more obstacles that I encounter, the harder the circumstances, the more difficult the situation, the more disappointments I experience, the more I want it and the harder I work. That is 100% true. I love failing. The faster I fail, the faster I'm gonna succeed. We all fail. It's all trial and error. There's no manual in life on how to become successful. If there was, I would have read it. Your why has to be greater than your why not. My why is my wife and my son and my dog Zeus. All right, those are my whys. I told myself I'm not gonna fail, number one, for me, but number two, because I'm trying to leave a legacy for my son. I want my son to have all the things I never had growing up, and the only way to do that is to lead by example, which is my hashtag. When I come into your dealership, I not only teach your staff, I actually do the work and I show them that it works. Passion and persistence will enhance your existence. You have to love what you do. People come in not for the vehicle, they come in for the experience. When I was in the hospitality industry, in the restaurant business is a perfect example. You can go to a restaurant, not like the food, but be overwhelmed by the service and give them a second chance. Now, if they had really good food and shitty service, excuse my language, you probably wouldn't go back. Wouldn't that be correct? Right? So it's all about the experience that you're providing. The cars are all the same. What experience are you providing inside the dealership? Do they want to come see you, or are they on edge? No lie, we were in an Uber last night, and we were talking to a young lady, me, Dan Moore, and Frank Lopes, and what'd she talk about her bad experience, right? Buying a car. Hated it. Failure is like medicine. I take it to get better. That's so true. Every time you fail, embrace that, because it's going to teach you something different. Don't worry, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes soon about phones and BDC, I promise. Consciously create your habits, because your habits unconsciously create your reality. This is one of my favorites. Consciously create your habits, because your habits unconsciously create your reality. Whatever you are getting or not getting out of life is due to one of your habits. When I go inside a dealership, I make it quite clear, 90% of the people I train fail. Why? From a quote from my old employer, why don't most people lift weights? Because they're heavy, right? It's hard to be successful. It really is. That's why most people don't pick up on my training. I tell people about 10% of the people I train actually utilize it. It's a necessary evil. It frustrates me, but it keeps me working, right? So it's almost a necessary evil for my business. But I promise you, I am not teaching you nothing that you've never heard before. 85% of the things I've told you, you've already heard. I'm reminding you, right? People will follow your example, not your advice. How many times have you given advice to somebody that have never taken it? But then they come back and tell you the same story about how they're getting the same thing. I promise you, the people that work underneath you, you will do about 10% of the work that you do. That's why if you're a BDC director, you need to be on the phones. You need to be dialing the phones just along with them. Why? Because they don't see you dialing the phones. They're going to be playing on Facebook and Instagram and telling you how they can't make any more phone calls than 50 phone calls a day. My BDC agents, my top performing BDC agents, do 100 to 150 calls every day. Why? Because as Jim Ziegler says, your raise becomes effective the moment you do. Think about that. In this business, your raise becomes effective the moment you do. There's no ceiling on what you can make. As a matter of fact, you can make as much money as you can earn. I have BDC agents that make $30,000 a year, and I have BDC agents that makes $100,000 a year as a rep, not even a director. I'm going to show you one of my top guys who runs my monthly support program on his numbers for the first 4 months of 2018. It's going to blow your mind, his results. Know the product, focus on the people, and follow the process. The product is very important, especially in BDC. Most BDCs don't get trained up on product knowledge. That's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want them to know about the product? When I was a waiter or a bartender, I didn't have to know how the food was prepared, but I can come up to your table one of two ways. I can come up and say, tonight we have a swordfish puttanesca. It's served for $22.95. Or I can come up and say, tonight we have a swordfish puttanesca. It's actually a swordfish fillet, sauteed with anchovies, black olives, capers, garlic, fresh tomato, and white wine over linguine pasta. Which one are you more likely to order, right? Know your product, but focus on the people. If you treat people like they make a difference, there's a good chance that they will, right? Remember, all people make decisions based upon a feeling, right? Happy, sad, anxiety, pissed off, whatever it may be. Remember this, every feeling that you get in life is temporary. Human beings are conditioned to hold on to the negative ones. I do 3 things every single morning to get myself into the right mindset to train my clients and to lead by example, and you'll find out those 3 things at the end of my presentation. Accountability is the key ingredient in the recipe for success. Are you accountable for making phone calls? Are you accountable for utilizing the CRM tool? If your salespeople are not utilizing the CRM tool, is it their fault or is it the management's fault? It should be a requirement, not a request. How much money do you pay for that CRM tool every single month? And then, the leads that go in there, how much money do you pay for those leads, right? But yet we don't hold salespeople accountable for utilizing the CRM tool, which allows us to see in real time at any given moment where that person is in the buying cycle. Those leads are worth money. I know dealerships that are spending big amounts of money on leads, but yet we do nothing to organize them and put them in the CRM tool. Work hard every day so one day you can sign the front of your paychecks instead of the back, right? That's the one thing I told myself I was going to do. When I left, I promise you I'm not going to fail. I'll outlast anybody when it comes to, well, maybe except for Sean Thomas. We'll see. There's 9 ways to sell a vehicle, guys. Did you know that? There's only 9 ways that you can actually sell a vehicle. And I'm going to give you the closing percentage. And right now, if I was asked one of the salespeople, how many cars do you want to sell a month? Number one, it shouldn't be about the number of cars you want to sell a month. How much money do you want to make that month? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And then, how many cars, no pun intended, is going to take you to get there? The cars are the vehicle to get you to the money. But if you don't know where to get your prospects from, how are you going to sell those cars? If you're going to sell 20 cars on fresh ups, good luck. You need 100 ups to come to your desk throughout that month. And with everybody fighting over the front door, forget it. I tell my dealers that if I came to your dealership, I would not spend 1 minute near the front door. As a matter of fact, I always put a wager on the line. If you don't believe my process works, hire me for 7 days or 30 days. I will come in there and sell cars. I promise you I won't take one fresh up. I will sit inside your CRM tool and I will lead the leaderboard in sales. Keep in mind, I never sold cars before I started 7 years ago. Now I sell them all the time when I go to my clients. It's not hard to sell a car. It's like selling anything else. As a matter of fact, do we determine how much the price is? No, the desk does. Do we do the payments? Nope, F&I does. So what do? We got to get them in to buy in on us and then over-deliver on the customer experience. It's that simple. Matter of fact, two days before I came to this conference, one of my buddies bought a car at BMW in New Jersey. I went there with him. He bought it cash. He was there 3 days before because he had a friend that was the F&I manager. So they knew he was coming back in to pick up his vehicle. And when we got there, it still took 2 hours to get out of there. They had 4 days to prep his car and get all the paperwork ready so he could just come in and sign and drive. Yet it took 2 hours to get through that process. I ask you guys right now, if you're going to spend money on anything besides a vehicle, and you're going to spend $10, $20, $30, or $40,000, what kind of a level of service would you expect if it was anything besides a vehicle? But yet, we can make them wait around for 4 hours and not give them the price. And by the way, if you're not showing your price, that's part of the problem. How can you not be proud of the price that you put online? They already know the price. The only reason they're asking you for a better price is because they have everything to gain and nothing to lose, right? Instead of trying to overcome that price objection, paint the picture of why we got that price. We don't just grab them out of thin air. We use V-Auto. It puts a pin drop on top of our dealership. It shoots out 200 miles in every direction. It lets me know where all those Nissan Maximas are being sold and how much they're being sold for. That allows me as a dealership to be really strategic with my pricing, so they're either going to be at my competition's level or below. Explain why it's a good price. And then say, hey, by the way, have you seen it cheaper? Because if they did, they probably wouldn't even clicked on your ad in the first place, right? So let's talk about where you get your cars from. Fresh up, 20% chance to close them. B-backs, when you get a B-back in, you got about a 50% chance to close them. When you set an appointment through the internet, through engaging internet leads, 50% chance to close them when they come inside the dealership. These are give and take a couple points here and there. Phones, when you set an appointment, about a 50% chance to close them. Previous customers, 75% chance to close them. If you did your job right, you should be higher than that. Prospecting, 50%. Referrals, 50%. Service drive is about, that's 10%. That was my bad. That was a last-minute insert into my presentation, so that's 10%. And social media is about a 75% chance to close because there's a bigger trust factor. They know who you are. There's some accountability in there. So right now, if you want to sell 20 cars, where are you going to get you 20 from? Right? If you're going to sell, say if you're saying, I want to sell 5 from fresh ups this month, how many ups do you got to get? 25, right? So know where you're getting your customers from. This is Joshua Wright. Joshua Wright used to work at Team 1 Chevrolet, Buick GMC in Charlotte, Michigan, a town of about 10,000 people. Been a client of mine for a very long time. He now works as the BDC director for Art Main Auto Group in Jackson, Michigan. Personal friend of mine, like a brother to me, and he now runs my monthly support program. Why? Because he took my process, he mastered it, and now look what he did with it. These are his first 4 months in January of 2018. A total of 264 appointments set. 235 of those appointments showed up, and 141 converted into sold cars. Those numbers are ridiculous, all right? But the only reason he did that is because he mastered his craft. If I asked everybody by a raise of hands, how many people in this room go home and practice their jobs on a daily basis after work? After work. Congratulations to the people that do. Now think about this. No matter what industry that you're in, the people that practice and hone their skills every single day are usually leaders of their industry. This is the only industry that you can get in without a GED, without a college degree. You can be a convicted felon, you don't need a driver's license, and you can make $100,000 as fast as you want. I know plenty of people that do it, right? Do you guys have a goal of how much money you want to make this year? When I left to be a trainer, I'm not looking to work with every single dealership. Trust me, there's a lot of dealerships out there that don't like following processes, and it's frustrating as a trainer. My philosophy is I want to work with the right dealerships. My philosophy when I left is if I want to make money, I need to have a plan on how I'm going to make that money. So I told myself, Anthony, go get yourself 12 dealerships that totally buy into you. Put your all into them. Give them everything that you got. Get them to bring you back once every 3 months. And if you do that, you'll be on a plane 48 weeks out of the year, working about to 100 to 150 days and making $250,000. But only 12 dealerships that believe in me enough to bring me back once every 3 months. Does that seem unrealistic with 20,000 franchise dealerships out there? Not at all. And this is why now I am booked out 45 days in advance, because I took that mentality and I said, I'm going to focus on one person and one dealership at a time, give them my all, and separate myself from the rest by being available all the time. Whether you sign up for a monthly support program with me or not, you get me no matter what. You get my phone number, my email address, and you get me no matter what. I could be in a hotel room. You can call me Anthony. I need to talk off the ledge because my manager sucks. And I'll do that for you. Because if I make them successful, guess what happens? They make me successful, right? It's a win-win situation. I'm going to leave that for a little bit. Let me give you guys some meat and potatoes. I didn't want to put these up on the board, but I want you to get your pens out. There's something called the science of communication, guys. It's a study that was done on how we communicate as human beings. 55% of your skills is done through body language or visual perception. 38% of your skills is the tone of your voice. Only 7% of your skills are the words that you say. And here's a fact. The minute I step off stage or the minute you hang up the phone with somebody, they forget 50% of everything you said. So think about this. The hardest job in a BDC or getting on the phone is getting somebody to pick up the phone, right? Write this down. The national connection percentage, what you can expect when you're down on the phones out. Somewhere between 10 and 15%. So if you're making 100 phone calls in a day, you'll have between 10 and 15 conversations, if you're lucky. Now, you don't have too much control over whether people pick up the phone or not, but you can be strategic of how you get to engage them, meaning make sure you're changing up the times that you call them, and also making sure that you leave really effective voicemails. If 85 to 90% of the time you're leaving voicemails, do you practice what you say? Do you sound like one of those bill collectors that get the delete button as soon as they leave the message? How do you sound? Leave yourself voicemails. Listen to yourself. Be effective with your voicemails. I promise you this, when I go into dealerships, I pound the phones, and when I don't get people picking up, I have fun with it. I have the best energy I possibly can, and usually when I leave the dealership, they say, Anthony, you left. We had like 20 return calls. Your messages are awesome. It's because I make people want to call me back. I want them to understand that I'm excited to provide them an opportunity to buy a car the way they want to buy it, not the way we want to sell it, right? Now, of all the people that get to pick up the phone, your national set percentage will be somewhere between 25 and 30%. The set percentage is somewhere between 25 and 30%. To get people to set more appointments, you got to focus on 4 things. Number 1, get them to like you. Number 2, get them to trust you. Number 3, get them to believe you. But most importantly, number 4, get them to remember you. If I asked you guys right now, if I left here today and you saw me in the street, would you remember me if you saw me? Do you think? Yeah? Do that for your clients, right? And remember, there's a difference between customers and clients. Customers are once, clients are forever, okay? The national show percentage is about 50%. That's with no strategy at all on the phones. Most of my clients enjoy about an 85 to 90% show rate. And to get people to show up, you got to focus on building value in 3 areas. Number 1, you got to build value in yourself. Who are you? And here's my biggest tip. If I was to call you, sir, what's your name, sir? Luke, if I was to call you from ABC Motors and we had a conversation about a vehicle that I wanted to buy, or that you wanted to buy, but I never told you what my job was, what would you think it was? Salesperson, right? Most likely. People don't like salespeople, right? Especially car salespeople. So the first thing I teach my BDC reps or salespeople to do is to change the paradigm of who they're talking to. Mr. Customer, as I look up that information, I want to let you know I'm not a salesperson. I'm what you can think of as a vehicle concierge. My job is to get you all the information that you went online to look for, but more importantly, make your next car buying experience your best car buying experience. If I'm a salesperson, I'm going to say something along the same lines, but change it up a little bit. I'm not your typical salesperson. I'm what you call an internet sales manager. I work alongside the internet department to make sure we get you the information that you were seeking online and to make your next car buying experience fast, easy, and convenient. Does that make sense, Mr. Customer? You got to lower the defense mechanisms. Get them to buy into you. Get them to listen to you. And if you don't tell them that you're not a salesperson or that you're a different type of salesperson from what they're used to, they're going to keep those guards up. It's kind of like when you go into the mall and you pick up the shirt off the rack and I come over and I say, "Can I help you, ma'am?" What do you say? No. Just looking. It's a defense mechanism. You gotta learn how to shut them off. That's why you gotta focus on the people. The second place you're gonna build value in is in the vehicle itself, which is why you need to know the product knowledge. If you don't know product knowledge, here's my suggestion. Build a Word document, right? Start off with a brand new vehicle and do one vehicle a day. Spend 10 minutes studying a vehicle and make 5 bullet points. The first bullet point is the type of vehicle. The second one is the price range. Starts at X, ends at Y, and then the rest are gonna be things that you actually like about that vehicle. Study it every single day. After about a month, you'll know your whole inventory, and then when people call about it, you can actually talk about it, right? The last place you're gonna build value is in the dealership itself. Do you have a value package proposition? And if you don't, this is where you see Frank Lopes, because he's amazing at creating them. Any questions so far, guys? Yes, 5 minutes? Excellent. Can I get 7? Awesome. So guys, at the end of the day, it's about over-delivering on the customer experience. When you're getting these people on the phones, you gotta know what you're gonna say before you're gonna say it, because guess what? They're gonna push back about the same things: price, research, availability, credit, and trade-in. We know the top 5 reasons why they're pushing back. What's your answer when it comes to price? What's your answer when it comes to credit, right? Make sure it's strategic. Practice them every single day. It's all about words, I promise you. It's all about being able to talk to the customers the way they want to be talked to. Make sure that you're tracking everything that you do. Track how many phone calls you make every day, how many times they pick up, how many connections you got, how many set appointments, how many showed, how many sold. Track them for today and month to date so you can see where you're going, right, in real time. Remember this, if you focus on giving the very best customer service, you will rarely ever have to give the best price, right? They don't pay for the car, they pay for you and the experience that you're gonna give them. So I really believe in a hospitality background. I come from a hospitality world. I really believe if you over-deliver on the customer experience, you're gonna win. Think about this, it's not even hard to win in this industry. Most of the time on the phone you hear, "Have you had a chance to test drive the vehicle?" "No, when's the best time to come in?" That's all they do. There's one question that I always make sure that my BDC reps or salespeople ask on the phone. And you only hear this from the people that I train. And I promise you, if I'm not training your dealership, I'm probably training your competition. Here's the question. Mr. Customer, at the end of the day, what is the most important thing to you when determining where you're gonna buy your next vehicle? Mr. Customer, at the end of the day, what is the most important thing to you when determining where you're gonna buy that next vehicle? All right, make sure to ask that. Everybody has my business card. You're gonna be able to ask me questions. I'm gonna be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. I'm gonna show you a quick video that I saw, I believe was that internet battle plan for Jim Ziegler. And I think it was done by Kerry Wise. And it really got to me because it's a hospitality message. So I want you guys to see this. Come on. Sorry, man, I'm trying. Here it comes.
I think that people who think that hospitality is just for restaurants are completely missing the boat. I think hospitality is probably the single most powerful business strategy that doesn't get taught nearly enough in business school. What we've learned in our business is to understand that service and hospitality are completely different topics.
Amen.
If you feel like I'm on your side, hospitality is present. If you think I did something for you, hospitality is present. If you think I'm customizing an experience for you, hospitality is present. We believe that the way you make people feel is what they remember more than anything. If you're going to provide the most powerful, sustainably lasting hospitality experience, believe it or not, we've learned you have to put your customers second. And that's not something I was ever taught growing up. I was always taught customers always first, the customer's always right. What we've learned is the best way to make the most customers happy is to make sure that the people who come to work in your organization are having a great experience coming to work. I think customers are expert at reading Is your staff focused on their work and are they having fun with each other? And if those two things are present, I can almost guarantee you a great customer experience. What we've been able to do in terms of hiring employees is to hire people 49% for their technical skills. You can be the best cook in the world or the best sommelier in the world, and we don't want you on this team unless you have the 51% emotional skills that lead to somebody who's got what we call a high hospitality quotient, a high HQ. And the 51% skills generally add up to somebody whose greatest pleasure in the world, having nothing to do with how good they are at their job, but whose natural wiring says it matters to me to make people feel better. And we've been able to identify what those 6 emotional skills are that are always present in somebody who's a 51%. Kindness, optimism, work ethic, curious intelligence, empathy, self-awareness, and integrity. We have an expression around here which is always be collecting dots so you can always be connecting dots. There's absolutely no excuse not to know who you're talking to and not to know what's important to that person. And in order to do that, I've got to be collecting dots. We have search engines, we have databases, we have all kinds of opportunities to know who's here, who are they dining with, when did they last eat,
CRM tool.
talking about, and we keep notes on all of that stuff. And then we put those connections to use for people that make them feel that this is a customized experience just for them. Gramercy Tavern is 21 years old and remains New York's #1 favorite restaurant in the Zagat survey. And we're really proud of that. I think that when someone says that you are their favorite version of anything, they're paying you the absolute highest compliment they can pay you. No one said Gramercy Tavern is the best restaurant. No one said Lexus is the best car. We'd like to think we are, and you'd like to think you are. But if somebody says, this is my favorite, that's inarguable. Nobody can say, no, it's not your favorite. And if I say Lexus is my favorite car, it wouldn't be my favorite if it also didn't provide an emotional connection that made me feel awesome. We have competitors out there who actually have higher food scores than we have. And we have a higher favorite rating. We have competitors who have even a higher service score. You know, their waiters wear tuxedos and they do a beautiful job of saucing the fish next to your table, etc. And we have a higher favorite score. So this is not an excuse not to constantly work on our performance. But I think the sum of our performance plus the hospitality experience leads people to say, there's just nowhere I'd rather do business. We're in a day and age with the internet where every good new idea we have, if it's truly a good idea, gets copied. And the shelf life of innovation is, it's probably about 5 seconds today. Nobody can take out their smartphone and take a picture of an act of hospitality. They can't take a picture of how you made my heart feel. And so, yes, we're going to keep innovating. Yes, we're going to keep performing at our maximum capacity. But we're going to go to town on stuff that you cannot copy from us. I tell our team here all the time, you think you're in the restaurant business? Forget about it. This is just a box. It's a hospitality box. That's the advice I would give any business, is put it out of your mind that you're selling a car. You're selling happiness. And you're selling emotional comfort. And if you can understand who I am and what my sign says when I walk in, where else am I going to go?
Okay, guys, last thing really quick before I get up stage. I apologize, Matt. What did I do? This is what I'm waiting to see right here. Where's it at? Here it is. 10 habits to change your paradigm. This is what I do every single day. First thing I do is I watch or listen to something that's going to motivate me within the first 5 to 10 minutes. They say whatever you listen to, read, or watch within the first 10 minutes of waking up, everybody take a picture of it. Matt's telling me, get off. Take a picture. Yeah, they don't want to forget. Okay. Watch or listen to something funny. I watch a comedian. You don't really just walk out of the house and see something funny to make you smile. I proactively look for my first smile. Watch or listen to something that will educate you on your craft. Hone your skills every single day. What you do every day is more important than what you do once in a while. Exercise every day, right? Your health is your wealth. Find a mission bigger than yourself. Extremely big goals. The bigger, the better. find mentors and role models. Why do you think I'm hanging out with Dan Moore and Frank Lopes, and I'm going to be talking to Danelle Delgado? I try to surround myself with better people than me, people that have gone further faster. Consistently tell yourself you can achieve anything. I self-talk all the time. Once I start feeling negative, I tell myself, Anthony, it's just a feeling, it's temporary, and I start to think of things that make me happy and positive. I proactively change my mindset. Stay optimistic about everything. Your perception is your reality. Work hard every single day. Guys, and most importantly, it's okay to love what you do. I've really figured it out that happiness and success are both just a mindset and a choice. My name's Anthony Alagona. I appreciate your time. I hope you guys got a lot out of it today.
Make some noise for Anthony, everybody! Hey, before we bring up the